Most professionals I speak with today aren't confused because they lack experience. They're confused because they're doing what used to work and it's not working anymore. And that creates a very specific kind of anxiety. Not the anxiety of being underqualified, but the anxiety of wondering, what if I'm putting in all this effort and it's the wrong effort? If you've been busy in your job search, setting applications, updating your resume, networking here and there, but you're not confident that any of it is actually moving you closer to an offer, this video is for you. Because by the end of this video, you'll understand why your job search feels harder than it should, what has actually changed behind the scenes, and how to tell whether what you're doing right now is building momentum or quietly keeping you stuck. But before we dive in, if you're new here and haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell so you're notified every time we post a new video. On this channel, we talk about real-world job search strategy, career clarity, and practical guidance for professionals navigating career transitions. If you're looking for encouragement, wisdom, and grounded direction, not hype or recycled advice, let us be your guide. If we haven't met yet, my name is Chuks, Agada, also known as Dr. A. I'm an executive career coach and former executive recruiter. And for years, I've worked with seasoned professionals, directors, VPs, executives, and senior leaders, many of whom haven't had to seriously job search in 10, 15, or even 20 years. Through my work and through career calibration, I've had hundreds of conversations with professionals at every stage of the job search, from early frustration to final offer. And there's one conversation in particular that comes up again and again. I was speaking with a senior leader, highly accomplished, well-respected, and currently employed, who had been quietly job searching for several months. They said to me, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing. I'm applying consistently, I'm networking when I can, I've updated my resume more times than I can count. But I don't know if any of this is actually helping. Then they pause and added something that really stuck with me. What scares me isn't rejection. It's the thought that I might be wasting time and not even realize it. That sentence comes up constantly in my work. Not fear of failure, fear of misdirection. And what I've learned is this: most people aren't stuck because they're doing nothing. They're stuck because they're doing reasonable things in a system that no longer rewards them. Once that clicks, once you understand how the market actually works today, the confusion starts to shift. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack in this video. So key insight number one, the job search rules have changed quietly. So here's the first thing to understand about today's market. The rules changed quietly and no one announced it. 10 or 15 years ago, applying online was a viable primary strategy. Recruiters manually reviewed resumes, applicant volume was lower, response rates were higher. Today, most resumes never reach a human being. Modern applicant tracking systems don't just store resumes. They parse them, score them, rank them, and often reject them automatically. This is not speculation. Harvard Business School research has shown that qualified candidates are routinely filtered out, not because they lack experience, but because their resume doesn't align cleanly with automated screening logic. This is especially common for senior professionals with broad experience, career switchers, leaders whose titles don't perfectly match job descriptions. If you've been wondering why you're not even getting callbacks anymore, this explains a lot. So key insight number two, competition has changed. Even when unemployment looks low, the next dynamic most people miss is how dramatically competition has changed. Even though unemployment numbers don't look alarming, you'll hear that unemployment is low, yet your job search feels harder than ever. Both can be true. Unemployment numbers don't account for employed professionals quietly searching, laid off senior leaders re-entering the market, remote and hybrid roles pulling applicants nationally and globally. LinkedIn's workforce data shows that applications per role have increased dramatically, especially for mid to senior level positions. This means more qualified people are competing for the same roles. So when you apply and hear nothing back, it's often not about your value, it's about scale. Key insight number three, activity feels productive, but often isn't this where many smart professionals get unintentionally stuck? When results don't come, the instinct is to do more. More applications, more resume edits, more hours spent job searching. That activity feels productive, It feels responsible, but activity alone does not create leverage. I've spoken with countless professionals who applied to hundreds of roles, not because they were lazy, but because they didn't yet see a better option. Here's the hard truth. If volume alone worked, most people would land roles quickly. What's missing is access. So key insight number 4, hiring still happens through people, just differently. So here's what hasn't changed. Even with all the technology, automation, applicant tracking systems, hiring decisions are still made by people. And I want to ground this in both data and my own experience. So first, let me show you something quickly. This comes from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, specifically their job openings and labor turnover survey. What this data shows is that millions of hires happen every single month across the US economy. And what's important is this: those hires don't neatly map to public job openings that you and I see online. In other words, hiring is happening continuously, often without a clear one-to-one connection to an application you can submit on a job board. Now, let me add real-world context from my own background as an executive recruiter. When I worked inside a major global corporation, an organization with over 80,000 employees worldwide, at any given time, we had around 10,000 open roles across the globe. And here's the part most job seekers never received. Roughly 60 to 70% of our hires came through internal employee referrals. Not because those candidates were magically better, but because they were visible sooner, they were trusted faster, and they entered the hiring process before the resume pile exploded. And that's not unusual. That's how large organizations actually hire at scale. So when people say applying online feels like a black hole, they're not being dramatic. They're bumping up against how hiring really works. Applications still exist, but very often they're the final formality, not the real decision point. Once you understand this, the job search stops feeling random and starts making a lot more sense. Now, if any of this is resonating with you, take a second and tap the like button. It helps this video reach other seasoned professionals who need to hear this. And quick question for you: how long has it been since you had to seriously job search? 5 years, 10 years, more? Drop the number in the comments. So now I want to talk about what strategic job seekers are doing differently today. So once you truly understand how the system actually works, a very clear pattern starts to emerge. When I look at the professionals who are landing roles, even in a difficult market, the difference is not raw talent, it's not intelligence, it's not pedigree, and it's not luck, it's strategy. They're not trying to be everything to everyone. Instead of saying, I'm open to anything, they get very clear on what problem they solve and where they solve it best. They narrow their role focus intentionally, not because they lack options, but because clarity creates traction. When you're clear, other people can place you. When you're vague, you become forgettable. That's a huge shift. Another thing they do differently is this: they don't wait for job postings to tell them when to engage. They identify decision makers and hiring leaders before roles are ever posted. They understand that most roles don't suddenly appear out of nowhere. They emerge from conversations, planning cycles, budget approvals, and internal movement. So instead of reacting to the market, they're positioning themselves inside of it. This doesn't mean pitching yourself aggressively. It means building familiarity over time so that when an opportunity does surface, your name already feels known, not random. You also see a very intentional use of LinkedIn. Not scrolling endlessly, not mass connecting with no context, but purposeful use. They show up consistently, they engage thoughtfully, they contribute insight instead of asking for favors all the time. They use LinkedIn to build professional visibility and credibility, not just connections. And that changes how people respond to them. You'll also notice how they use AI. And this part is important. They're not handing their job search over to AI and hoping it figures things out for them. They're using AI to research companies and leaders faster, organize outreach, draft and refine messaging, track conversations and follow-ups. AI supports their thinking. It doesn't replace it. That distinction matters. And when you zoom out, here's the biggest difference of all. They don't treat the job search like a numbers game. They treat it like market entry. They think in terms of pipelines instead of applications, conversations instead of submissions, momentum instead of hope. They're not waiting for one application to work. They're building multiple paths forward at the same time. That's why their job search feels calmer even before the offer arrives. Now, here's the part most people don't talk about. This approach feels uncomfortable at first, and that discomfort is often misinterpreted as a red flag. It requires outreach, which means initiating conversations instead of waiting. It requires patience, because relationships compound more slowly than applications. And it requires visibility, which means being seen before you feel fully ready. Apply online feels faster. There's no rejection in silence. There's no awkward conversation. There's no vulnerability. Strategic engagement, on the other hand, puts you in motion, and motion always feels risky. But here's the reframe that I want you to hold on to. Discomfort does not mean you're doing something wrong. Very often, discomfort is a signal that you're finally doing something different and more effective. When you stop chasing postings and start building access, the anxiety slowly shifts. You move from, am I doing this wrong, to, I can see how this works now. And that shift alone changes how you show up and how the market responds to you. If you're realizing that you've been busy but not strategic, if you'd like expert job search guidance delivered weekly into your inbox, join our email list. Each week, we share insights designed to help you think more clearly, position yourself strategically, and regain confidence in your job search. You can sign up using the link below. And if you'd like to learn more about who we are and how we support seasoned professionals, visit our website to explore our resources, programs, and services. And finally, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe and comment below. See you next time. Over and out.